Hi, I am Jonas Meyer, and now I want to welcome everyone to the first episode of Mets Meltdown. I'm so glad to be able to be here on a weekly basis covering everything Mets, including news stories, weekly record updates, pitcher and hitter of the week, special guests, in-city field reports, and so much more. We had many departures, but the big ones hit us hard in the pitching department, including, obviously, Jacob deGrom, three-time Cy Young winner, and someone who has been a Met his whole career. And even though I'll miss him, his injury woes have been a worrisome thing for the past couple years, but you can't argue when healthy, he is the best pitcher in the league. Also, Chris Bassett, who posted a 3.42 ERA, which ranked 28th for all pitchers in 2022. And while he was only here for a year, he was an extremely solid three pitcher who was very consistent for the whole entire year. Lastly, we lost some bullpen pitchers like Seth Lugo and Trevor Williams. Williams played a bigger role than people know in the long reliever position, and personally, I think Tyler McGill, who was mainly a starter last year, might fit perfect into that missing spot. We had many signings this winter, and what sometimes goes under the radar is re-signing the players already on your roster, and we did that exact thing. We signed Brandon Nimmo, starting center fielder, Jeff McNeil, starting second baseman and batting champ in 2022, and Tomas Nido, half of our catcher platoon. While re-signing is important, I believe in the phrase, if you don't improve, you're only getting worse, and that is why our new signings were also vital. Justin Verlander agreed to a 2-year deal with us to get the 2022 AL Cy Young to come to Queens. We also signed Kodai Senga from the Hawks in the NBP League in Japan. He has a nasty pitch called the Ghost Forkball, which has people facing him completely lost. The last starter we signed was Jose Quintana, who had a pretty good year in 2022 with a 2.93 ERA, but did kind of fall off at the end of the year, but I'm hopeful he'll come back to that form he was in. Now let's head to our possible future additions. Francisco Alvarez, plus power and lots of it, can hit to all parts of the field. Brett Beatty, good all-around third baseman who can also play the outfield. Kevin Parada, another bat-first catcher who is still very raw and is an A-ball, but definitely has some really good potential to be a great hitter. Alex Ramirez, he is such a young guy and his potential is through the roof. He is super fast and has great defensive awareness already. Also, he cut his strikeout percentage by 10% in only 1 year, which shows he has the ability to improve. Jet Williams, who at 19 years old, has yet to prove a lot because of how young he is. To put it simply, while he is small, it does not affect him at all due to his bat-to-ball skills and his speed. Ronnie Mauricio, my personal favorite prospect we have. He is big, strong, and fast, and really has the chance to be that five-tool player every team wishes they had. He hit .259 with 26 home runs and 89 RBAs in AA last year. But during the offseason, he won MVP in the Dominican Winter League. And let's just say, he has not let up because in spring training so far, he has 4 hits and 9 at-bats, and 3 of those 4 hits are home runs. Blade Tidwell is a 6'4" right-hander who can hit 98 with his fastball and as low as high 70s with his curve. Excited to see what he can do. Mark Vientos, who played a little bit with the Mets at the end of last year, has a good chance and probably will make the roster. He can hit super well and has a really good bat. Dominic Hamill, who is right-handed pitcher and A-plus ball, and while his velocity is nothing special, his spin rate is something special, so definitely keep an eye on him. Calvin Ziegler, who is another right-handed pitcher who is only 20 years old. Decent fastball, good curveball that gets him a lot of whiffs, and hopefully in a couple of years, he'll become a middle-of-the-line starter for the Mets. There are obvious players that we all think will have great years. Pete Alonso, Lindor, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, and so on. But to have a great team, you also need the non-superstars to play big roles on the team. I think there's a couple players that fit that role. One is Kodai Senga, which we really don't know what we're going to get from him, just from the fact that he's not faced MLB hitters yet. Another guy to keep a look at is Daniel Vogelbach, who was our DH against righties and could be in a position to have a big year. He toned down the offseason and lost 25 pounds, and is looking at a year where he can maybe hit 15 to 20 home runs, which is exactly what we need. Well, thanks to everyone that joined me for my first episode of the Mets Meltdown, and we will be back next Tuesday and every Tuesday after that.